Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hello, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session that was designed to really reactivate a particular client's desire to be active, to be wanting to exercise, to use their body more. And what you tend to find is that most people have had a time in their life where they weren't being active to lose weight. They weren't being active because it was something that they should do or they need to do. They were being active because it was just really enjoyable to do that. You know, and if you pass, let's say, a school and you see a playground, children are running around, not to lose weight, not for exercise, but because it's joyful for children to do that, to be active and to run around and to really tap into the essence. And this is the key thing. Almost everyone has had a time in their life where they were passionate about being active. Now, this particular client had a certain sports and activities, including gymnastics and things like that, that were really desirable for them. Now, for you, it might be something different. It might be football, it might be running, it might be tennis. But everyone has had something in their life that they have this real connection with. As adults, we can lose connection with that feeling of passion and enthusiasm. And in doing so, a different voice takes over, and that quite often is a critical voice, a judgmental voice that says, you need to move more, you need to exercise more. And generally that creates a polarity response where we do the opposite. And in most cases, if you are told that you should do something or you have to do something, it doesn't put you in a resourceful state, it doesn't make that a desirable thing to do. But when you think about, at its core, being active is quite fun, it's an enjoyable thing. To reactivate that passion, that enthusiasm to be active, completely changes the approach. It's now something that you get to do rather than have to do. So the ideal way to experience this is just to find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and just enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, notice that as you breathe in and breathe out, you can adjust your body to make yourself even more relaxed. As you breathe in, focus on breathing in through the nose. Hold it for a second. And as you breathe out, release tension from your body in your outward breath. Feeling that tension leave your body. That's right. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a bright, vibrant color that represents resourceful relaxation. It could be any color you like, but the brighter the better. It could be a purple, a pink, an orange or yellow. And imagine that as you breathe in, you're breathing in that bright, vibrant color that represents resourceful relaxation. Feeling it going in through your nose, into your lungs, and feeling that feeling of resourcefulness is spreading to every cell in your body. I want you to accept the suggestion that that warm feeling of resourceful relaxation is melting away feelings of tension, stress, and anxiety. So that as you breathe out, you can feel what it feels like for that tension, stress, or anxiety to leave your body in your outward breath and almost see it like a darker color. Maybe grey, maybe dark. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to consider that this is the equivalent of an emotional, resourceful transfusion. Resources are going in, and those feelings that you don't want to hold on to anymore are leaving your body in your outward breath. And there's nothing you need to do, because simply breathing in and breathing out enables you to feel more resourceful and more relaxed, and for tension, stress, and anxiety to leave your body in that outward breath. Notice that your eyelids are feeling heavier and heavier. You're feeling more relaxed. I want you to get a sense that as your body relaxes, your imagination becomes more alert, more active. And I want you to imagine it's the future, and maybe it's days or weeks or months in the future. And I want you to imagine that you're trekking on a mountain. Imagine you're wearing the right clothes to be trekking. As you look down, see the shoes on your feet. I want you to imagine that there you are, trekking on the side of amazing landscapes, perhaps feeling the sun on your skin, surrounded by natural beauty. And I want you to notice that your internal dialogue exudes positivity and enthusiasm. Yes, I can do this. This feels good. Start thinking of all those things you would be saying or could be saying if you were trekking and really enjoying that moment. I want you to imagine that this mountain, this hill, this landscape that you're trekking up represents some kind of challenge or hurdle. And sometimes the biggest challenge that we face isn't that we can't do something, it's just that we've fallen out of the habit of doing it regularly. And maybe this mountain represents the challenge of inertia. But notice as you walk up, yes, there's challenges, but these challenges just require one step at a time. You don't have to do everything. You can't teleport to the top of the mountain. One step makes a bit more progress. And as you make the progress and look back and see how far you've come, doesn't it make it easier to make even more progress? I want you to find a place there on the side of that mountain that you've got incredible views. And for some reason, I want you to imagine there is the most comfortable sofa that you've ever seen there on the side of a mountain. It shouldn't be there, but it is. And I want you to take a break and just position your body on that sofa, looking out at the progress you've made, but also this wonderful scenery around you. That just by being in nature, surrounded by this beauty, makes you feel good. And you understand that when you do things, not because you should do them, not because you need to do them or have to do them, but when you do them because you truly enjoy doing them, notice that effort isn't required. You're willing to do whatever's required because it's just enjoyable to do it. And tap into that feeling as you rest there on that sofa looking out at that scenery. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and I want you to imagine that you're going to have a nap on that sofa on the side of that mountain. With each descending number, you will feel 10% deeper and deeper relaxed, allowing your mind to go deeper into your subconscious, the place where memories exist, the place where those skills that you've learned but haven't done for a while also exist. Starting to count. 10, eyelids feeling heavier and heavier. The muscles around your forehead and temple, just release any of that tension now. That's it. 9, focusing on the muscles in your jaw, your cheeks, around your mouth. As you breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, just decide to let go of any tension on your outward breath. That's right. 8, focusing on the muscles in your neck. There on your shoulders, becoming aware of any feelings of tension. Continuing to breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation and just exhaling that tension. Letting it go now. 7, focusing on your arms. Arms feeling limp, loose, heavy. So relaxed. Like the limbs of a puppet without any strings. Deeper, deeper relaxed. That's it. 6. As you breathe in, allow even your internal organs to relax. Your lungs relax. Stomach relaxes. Heart relaxes. That's it. 5, going all the way down into your diaphragm, enabling you to take deeper and deeper breaths, which mean that also that emotional transfusion means that you're feeling more and more relaxed, more and more resourceful as that feeling goes into your gut, releasing any feelings or echoes of anxiety, tension. That's it. Deeper and deeper relaxed as 5 goes into 4, feeling that feeling of relaxation there on the sofa on the side of a mountain, going into your legs. Legs feeling limp, loose, heavy, so relaxed. 3 and then 2 all the way down into your feet. Imagine that even a toe can become so deeply relaxed. That's it. And then 1, just imagine that you're about to fall asleep on this sofa, a nap, there on the side of a mountain, just in your imagination, as you recall a memory, a time perhaps when you were maybe 12, 13, even 14 years old. I want you to recall a time where you were doing gymnastics. Feel how good it felt to have the body of that time, but also the enthusiasm to not exercise because you had to, but you were just active because you wanted to. It was good to use your body, and it was good to feel how good it felt to notice progress. And I want you to imagine that you're watching someone else do a move that you didn't know how to do yet. Notice how it felt to feel inspired, and notice where in your body you feel that desire to accomplish something that at that point in time you didn't know how to do. And doesn't it feel different to know you want to do something, not because you need to or have to, but simply because you want to? And then perhaps you can recall asking that person how long it took for them to do that move. And then perhaps you said it out loud, or perhaps in your own inner dialogue. I'm going to do this in just a few months. And recall at that point in time, you didn't know how to do that, but you found a way. You were dedicated. You were resilient, because it didn't go to plan on the first attempt. It took many attempts, but you focused on the bigger picture. You imagined a version of you in the future being able to do that move. And that was the lighthouse that gave direction to your unconscious mind to keep being resourceful even when it was beyond reach. Recall how you felt training to do that move. It required effort, it required dedication, but there was no guilt, no shame, no pressure. You did it because you wanted to do it. To prove to yourself and to other people that what took them years you could do in just a few months. Feel how good it felt to notice the progress. It wasn't about the end result, because even progress made you felt good. And by feeling good by making progress, that gave you more motivation to do it more and more and more. And then fast forward in time until you could do that move. And it felt good to do it in private, but didn't it feel even better to do that where you knew that other people could see your progress? To see that you could do something that they didn't think was possible to do in that time. Tap into that wonderful feeling, that feeling of being in control. When you do that move, perhaps a flip, imagine how good it feels. That feeling of freedom, almost like you're flying, that the whole world is in slow motion. That connection with your own body, that incredible joy of just landing perfectly. And as you tap into that feeling, I want you to accept the suggestion that this didn't happen by accident, and it didn't happen by shaming yourself and using guilt and coercion. You were inspired to do this. And when you're inspired, you are unstoppable. And if your unconscious mind accepts that in the right way of thinking, you can tap into wonderful resources that mean you can do things that people don't even believe you can do. And it feels wonderful to even entertain the idea that you can activate that feeling again. I want you to go forward in time to a time where you were working out and you found the perfect routine for you. The right combination, perhaps, of swimming, running, yoga, walking. Remember that time and remember what that routine was. And really pay attention to the expression on your face. The expression wasn't an expression of burden, obligation, and struggle. The expression was, I get to do this. I love doing this. Pay attention to your inner dialogue and your specific tonality of how many yeses there were inside your own mind. Yes, I'm working out. Yes, I'm in control. Yes, it's working. There was no shame and guilt back then. You were tapping into a wonderful internal strategy of enthusiasm and passion, and reconnect with where you feel that passion in your own body right now. Make it grow bigger, more powerful. And all you need to do to tap into this feeling again is remember feeling how good it felt to be enthusiastic and passionate, and to inspire yourself to turn inertia into momentum, to take the first step, to do that first workout, that first yoga class, that first swim. And by doing that and connecting that to a wonderful feeling of freedom, of connection with yourself, activates all those old ways of thinking where this was something you got to do, that you loved to do, that you had a passion for. And then recall the memory of trying on a dress that was custom made for you. And remember how good it felt to hear that each time you were there for a fitting, the dress had to be altered and altered again because you were making too much progress. But recall that it wasn't shame and guilt that inspired you to make that progress. It was your enthusiasm to do things that you knew were great choices for you and your body, but also your emotions. When you do things that use your body in a certain way, you're recharging your battery pack, your power bank of wonderful feelings. And sometimes we forget just how good it felt to do certain things. But when we're reminded, it becomes easier and easier to do that very first thing that gets the ball rolling, that gets that stationary roundabout just starting to move in the right direction. And I want you to imagine what you would do in the present and the future with these wonderful feelings. Or feeling that you want to swim, not have to. That you really desire to book a class, to make plans, to do aerial yoga, to go trekking. And I want you to imagine not just making the plans, but then actually doing those things. Feel yourself suspended. They're doing the aerial yoga, reminding you of how good it felt to feel like you're flying when you did a flip. Connecting with that feeling of the more you use the body, the more you can enjoy your body. And remember when you were a child and you had an amazing shape. Not because you were trying to lose weight and not because you were trying to get healthy, but because you associated active things with joy and freedom and fun. And feel those feelings as you imagine yourself doing the aerial yoga. Feel those wonderful feelings as you imagine you trekking across incredible terrain. And feel those wonderful feelings as you imagine not just being in a pool, but swimming and doing laps up and down. Just enough to get out of breath, to know that you're exercising your heart and your muscles. And then imagine it's later that day after you've been active and you feel the wonderful aches in your body, knowing that you've got outside of your comfort zone and it feels good. And then imagine falling asleep with your head on a pillow at the end of a day when you've been active and training, with a wonderful sense of accomplishment, personal pride. Notice there is no shame, only feelings of gratitude and positivity. And then you're no longer in your bed, but back on a sofa on the side of a mountain. Get up off that sofa and continue to trek up the mountain until you get to the very top. And I want you to imagine that this is you in perhaps 6 or 12 months' time. That you reconnected with a passion for working out and being active. You fell in love with making these great choices. And notice what it's done to your body. I want you to imagine there is a full-length mirror at the top of this mountain, and look into the mirror and see your new shape of your body. This is you in the future looking at yourself in the mirror on top of a mountain, and just see what happens when you connect enthusiasm, passion, and joy to being active. And notice how good it feels to see all of that progress that you've made. If your unconscious mind accepts that everything is just cause and effect, you reap what you sow. And when you're active, because it gives you joy and pleasure, and it's connected to the feeling of passion and enthusiasm, notice that the journey is so much easier. I now want to connect to that voice inside your mind that has been trying to shame you, to criticize you, to pressure you into being active. I want to thank that part for its good intentions, but it's time for a changing of the guard. If that strategy was the right strategy, you would have already had the progress that you've wanted. But to get to this place requires passion and enthusiasm, and I want you to turn down the volume of that voice and now replace it with a voice where it's you when you're enthusiastic. When you say to yourself, yes, I'm in control. Yes, it's working. Yes, I'm working out. Yes, I'm enjoying this. And if all parts of your unconscious now accept that this is a more useful part, to not shame you into losing weight, but to inspire you to being more active and making healthier choices, just let me know by nodding your head. Tap into that wonderful feeling of enthusiastically making great choices. And what you'll find is when you make great choices when it comes to being active, you can't help but make great choices in many other areas of your life too. Take all those wonderful feelings and realize that all of this, the trekking, the memories, the mountain and the sofa, are all just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams. As you return to the present, taking all those wonderful resources and feelings with you, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Get a sense that you're in your own physical body right now. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. And you will awaken feeling inspired, enthusiastic, that you've rekindled what was a dead fire and you've seen just a spark. You've rekindled that passion, that enthusiasm, but that fire will only stay alight if you add more sticks onto the fire. And that means you taking action to support this new enthusiastic way of thinking. So you will awaken with a desire to make those plans, but more importantly, to follow through on those plans. Not because you have to, but because you want to rekindle a passion and enthusiasm for working out and being active. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.